So this is officially my coming out video. I'm excited to share this. I think it's kind of important to get these stories out there, and for people who might not be out yet or who think they can't, they can never do that, to kind of see these and see that they're not alone, and that we all have different stories, and some good, some bad, but they're all important. So yeah. So basically, I was raised in the Mormon Church. Some of y'all know as Church of Latter-day Saints, or LDS. I was kind of born into the church. My mom and my dad were both raised in the church, so it was just something that our family did for a long time. I went to church until I was about 17, maybe a little bit younger, right after my parents got divorced. I kind of saw that as my way out. But for me, being raised Mormon was kind of important to me, who I am now. There were a lot of great things that I learned from the church. There were a lot of important things that instilled in me. But one thing that really did stand out to me that was kind of hard was their view on same-sex marriage and being gay in general. It wasn't really something that was talked about outright, but I would hear things in passing, kind of just had a general sense that it wasn't something that people were comfortable with, which, a lot of churches feel that way, unfortunately. But it was something that I knew early on that I needed to hide. It was difficult to have to feel like I had to hide myself, to have to feel like I had to hide things I wanted to watch or read or, learn about, because it wasn't okay. So all of this leads up to me coming out. And it wasn't until I was out of high school, really, maybe my senior, towards the end of my senior year after I graduated. And I knew at that point, I knew middle school, I was gay. So I had been really just keeping this all in, didn't want to tell really my really close friends. It was hard for me to even tell them, let alone my parents. But my friends, I told them. My best friend was gay too, so it wasn't like it was an issue. It was just something I had to kind of get to on my own. But when I came out to my parents, that was a really big deal to me, really big step. And I was really scared. At this point, my mom was still really involved in the church, as my older brother was as well. My little brothers weren't so much really, but they were still, still raised Mormon as I was. My dad was agnostic, atheist, somewhere in that range, and my stepmom was raised Catholic. So there's a lot of different aspects going on at this point. I told my mom first. I was so scared. It was probably one of the most scariest things I had ever done. I had this knot in my stomach that I knew I needed to tell her, and I knew it had to come out then, but I couldn't really get it out. It was so hard to say the words. I was talking with my mom in the living room and tell her, I said I had to tell her something important. I couldn't really get to it, and then I went to go, let's go play some ping pong, let's just go blow off some steam and we'll just forget about it. So we're playing ping pong, and she kept pestering me, wanting to know what it was. What was it that I needed to tell her so badly? And I thought I was going to throw up. I was just so scared. I knew that she loved me, but I wasn't sure how she was going to react. Honestly, I just didn't know if she would still love me. So we were playing ping pong. And before I passed out, I said the words, "I like girls." And she paused a minute, and then next thing I know, my brother overheard from the room over, comes running in, and he goes, "You like girls?" I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's great." And I was so struck by that. I was like, okay, that's awesome, thanks. And my mom was like, "Okay, yeah, I mean, I kind of figured," and I was just like, okay, I guess they knew. No big deal. My mom gave me a hug, said she loved me. This didn't change anything, how she felt about me. She'd always loved me. I'm always her daughter. We cried, hugged, and everything was fine. I was the most nervous to tell her because she was still active in the church. And I wasn't sure how she would take it. I wasn't sure if, how it would change things, and it didn't. And that was great. And then I had to tell my dad and my stepmom, which I honestly was really scared about. Even though my dad, I knew, was agnostic or atheist or somewhere in that range, I just have this, I love my dad, and I never want to disappoint him. And anything that I think could be disappointment to him, I just can't. It is so hard for me to share with him. So finally, I get up the courage. I go to their house. I'm sitting in their room, sitting in bed when my dad's on his recliner. And I tell them, something really important I need to tell you guys. And my stepmom is like automatically freaking out. Like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you on drugs? Are you pregnant? Like, what's wrong? Are you failing classes?" And like just a barrage of questions. And I was like, no, it's nothing like that. Like, it's okay. And the next thing I know, the doorbell rings, and our neighbor's coming over to get his foot looked at, because my stepmom's a podiatrist. So he has a bunion she wants her to look at. So we all go into the living room and looking at this foot for probably an hour. And, they're talking for forever. My stepmom keeps sending glances my way, like, kind of freaked out still. So we all get back after the neighbor leaves to the bedroom, and we're sitting back down. My dad's kind of walking in and out of the room, reading some newspaper or something, magazine. And my stepmom just starts freaking out, asking me all these questions again. And I was kind of getting overwhelmed. I was really getting overheated, and I was really scared to say anything. And the next thing I know, my dad walks past us, and he goes, "Just leave her alone. She likes girls." And I look at him, and I was like, "Wait, what? Like, how did you know?" And he basically sat me down. But we sat down and kind of talked about how when I was little, my mom and my dad had a conversation about how, well, what if she's gay? Like, what if, and I think that those feelings that I had internally, that I saw in myself, I think they might have seen signs. And so they had a conversation when I was probably in, one when I was in elementary school, and then one was when I was in middle school, about if I like girls and how that would, how they would react to that and what that means. And they both had a conversation and decided that, like, that wouldn't change anything, that I'm still their daughter. And they still love me. So I think that was really powerful for me to hear that, that no matter what, that I was still their daughter. So, without getting too moppy and crying all over the place, it was a really powerful moment for me. It not only helped me be more open, but come to terms with myself as well. So I think before you come out, you're really, you're looking for some validation. And I was obviously looking for some validation. I wanted to know that I would still be loved. So my parents are amazing. They love me, like, more than I can say. Sometimes obnoxiously, but they love me. My mom helped me make this shirt for Pride for 2013, which I have to wear for this video, of course. But yeah, it was one of the scariest, but the best experiences that I've ever experienced. And the same goes to my brothers. When I told them, they didn't even care. The younger ones they're like, that's cool. Be you, do you, and it didn't even faze them really. So my family is amazing, and I know that I'm lucky because not everybody has experiences like that. Not everybody gets to walk away without negative reactions, and I am so lucky to have the family I have and to have the support I have. And that goes for my friends as well. I have a great circle, and then I know that this is who I am. It's, this is who I was meant to be. And I love myself, and I love my family, and they love me. So that's all that really matters.